I'm the happiest guy in the world. A happy time. Hold on a sec. Well, I do my icky shuffle. Okay, the icky shuffle has been done. I'm thrilled, and General Dog is with me. Hi, General Dog.
Hey,
Hey.
I wish it were under better circumstances.
Oh, no. This is exactly how it had to be. And I'm thrilled with the result. And it's like I said at halftime, Corey Coleman's not an NFL wide receiver. I don't know what he's out there for. He doesn't get open very often. And you saw what he did when it matters. So who needs this?
I also saw something I didn't expect to see, and that was Rashard Higgins contributing.
Well, I mean, he may be one of those guys who just needed to save his job. I have no idea because he showed no predilection to getting open during the course of the regular season. But then again, there are going to be people who say, see, Kaiser can't play. It wasn't his fault. It's like he still threw the interception, and he still sucks a gigantic moose with huge antlers.
He wasn't making reads the whole game. He was just looking for Gordon on every play.
That would appear to be the case. Yes.
I didn't see him progressing. I really did not.
And here's another thing. I don't see him checking down to Duke Johnson nearly often enough because he's forcing the ball down the field. Njoku never sees shit. Gordon sees most everything. And, I don't know.
And did you see the horse collar that they flagged Jamar Taylor on? They flagged him for the horse collar, and yet they didn't flag the Steelers for that horse collar on Gordon.
Hey, Mark Valentin, you're going to have to put on a headphone or something. You're creating a massive amount of feedback here. Yeah, he just jumped out. Maybe he needs a headset. Repeat what you said, General Dog. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just saying that the Browns got flagged for the horse collar. I think it was Jamar Taylor. And yet they didn't flag the horse collar on Gordon.
Oh, no. There was a second one that they horse collared a guy on. It doesn't seem to matter what they do. But then again, we already discussed this in previous weeks that when you suck as bad as the Browns do, you don't get any calls anyway. So
stick it to you.
But what does it matter? I mean, I just want to say hi to some of the people in the chat room. Tony says, I can't believe they went 0-16. Just stopped 10 years in the making. It takes at least a decade for an organization to do this. We did it, Travesty Train said. Yes, it's an accomplishment now, isn't it? Ron Shane, Kaiser had a clear shot for a first down. Woo-hoo! Meanwhile, the kid, don't make me laugh. I took a shower. Dark Sealer 1995, who's been with us for some number of weeks now. Only reason this game was close was because the Steelers didn't care. Vicious Sid says, sorry. Vulp, can we go 0-32? Well, that's what Jimmy's bringing back next year. That was Vicious Sid, who didn't have his headset. Yeah, and he created something actually worse than this program, which is amazing. The big dick of truth is here, Gemini. That is my job. DC Gaming, I can't see how they're going to justify keeping Huey. Can't wait for Huey's presser should be given at the United Nations. Now we can drown Huey in the lake. All of these comments coming in over on YouTube. Also want to say hi to the people, the Moohead Radio chat room, because this is what we do. Amsterdam Mogambi, OG, Big Lurker UK, General Dog Wable, Tony and DP Joe 6, Double Penetration Joe 6, guy who has a sexual fantasy about Joe Askew, the former catcher of the Cleveland Indians. All right, so what is your perspective, General Dog, after seeing this latest fiasco? Is it just completely psychological that the team can't win? And is it that they just don't ever want to put out for the coaching staff? What is the story here? Are they just beaten up?
The short of it is that more and more and more over the years have dragged on. I really have become sorry that the Browns ever came back.
Came back where? I mean,
came back. They should have went to Baltimore and stayed there.
I also, Vicious Sid has his headphones on. Hey, Vicious Sid, what's up?
Hey man, how are you? I'm sorry.
Oh, no. You're not wearing the mask of shame. Corey Coleman is wearing the mask of shame, just so you know.
Well, I think Hugh Jackson is doing that quite well.
You look depressed. You're supposed to be happy. This is a celebration.
0-16 is pretty unbelievable, but 1-31 is unforgivable. That.
Sing along with Mr. Muhammad. Imagine me and you. I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the team you love and hold them tight. So happy together.
It's tough.
I know. I'm sorry you had to put the headphones on for that, Sid. I'm sorry.
There's still no culture.
Oh, my God.
There's still no culture.
Say what now?
There's still no culture.
Oh, no, there is no culture whatsoever. It's except I will say this, that Hugh Jackson will be the first African American to go swimming in Lake Erie in the winter. So there you have it. So that's kind of a new culture that is developing within that community.
Cut a hole in the ice, drop Hugh in, and then cover it back up.
Yeah, my God. I mean, God, poor Sid. I mean, you really thought that somehow we were going to avoid this. You have this look of devastation on your face. How old are you, Sid?
40.
You're 40. You look damn good for 40. How long have you been a Browns fan?
Oh, I'm a Bills fan, actually. I spoke to you a little bit, but
that's why you look good. Get the fuck out of here.
I feel terrible for you guys. I really do.
Look at me. I'm 32. No. No. That's funny.
That's a damn shame.
A Bills fan feels sorry for us. It's like, you guys, what was it, 4 times to the Super Bowl? And we were feeling, 4, the big 4. And we felt sorry for you. And now you're coming back and you're reciprocating. Thank you. That's very considerate of you. We appreciate it.
Oh. It's just the whole losing of the team and the getting them back, and then this. It's just like, how many more indignities does one suffer? It's
the Cleveland Indians blowing a 3-1 lead in the World Series. Would you like me to continue? LeBron James leaving at the end of the season? I mean, I don't know. What do you want me to tell you? I mean, this is it is our heritage. It is what we were born for. It is Cleveland we mourn for. Okay. There's my couplet for the day. I'm so poetic.
Yeah, I'm 45, so at least I'm old enough to have remembered when the Browns were good at the end of the Sipe era and the beginning of, during the Kozar era.
The Paleozoic age. Yeah, I remember kind of what that was like too. And it was really kind of a good time. We never thought at the time when we were cursing Marty Schottenheimer that it would get so much worse. I mean, the amazing thing is we used to
take Marty Ball back anytime right now.
Yeah, that's right. That's the amazing thing. It's like, oh, please, I want Marty Ball. I want him to fuck it up in the end of the playoffs, but I want to get there. It's like we would do anything. We would literally do anything to have that back again. Red Right 88 is like, go ahead, call it again. It's Sam, call it again. We don't care. We would take that gladly back. Then way, for God's sakes.
Hey, we got rid of Modell.
No, Modell got rid of us. There's a real big difference.
That's the ultimate indignity.
I know. Fuck.
He got a Super Bowl a few years after he moved to Baltimore.
I know. It's like pathetic. It's like Art Modell was laughing at us. Him, of all people, was laughing at us.
Yeah, he was holding up the Lombardi trophy and going, ha ha, Cleveland, I got mine. Where's yours?
I mean, Art Modell, the guy who was fucking his wife, Pat, all those years, who said to the press, she's my wife, I have to. That Art Modell. And there's Tony the Calf. You look positively radiant, Minnesota fan.
Thank you. I'll tell you. they need to get that franchise out of that town. The city and its citizens, the good people of Cleveland, should not have to suffer this anymore for the rest of their lives. Get them the fuck out. It's so embarrassing. I'm from fucking Minnesota, and I feel so embarrassed for the city of Cleveland that you have to deal with being the joke of sports no matter what LeBron James does.
So what are you doing today? Are you going for the Minnesota trailer trash look today, Tony? Is that what we're going for?
Hey, his team is 12-3. I mean, who cares what it looks like?
13-3, baby.
Yeah, I know.
That's right.
I mean, we would take Tony's hair right now if we could be in the playoffs. Okay?
It's fucking 50 below here. I haven't left the house in 3 days.
How cold is it really? That cold?
It's 32 below when I woke up at about 9:30 this morning with a 61 below wind chill.
So you have no water. That's why you didn't take a shower.
No, I have water. I just didn't. Why the fuck? Not leaving the house. Don't need to take a shower.
We're all lacking motivation. It's like I don't even have the will to take a shower anymore.
I feel like Corey Coleman. I couldn't catch anything.
Ah, damn.
Hey, one thing. If it was 60 below and our team was 13-3, I'd be wearing a tank top.
Well, yeah. Don't feel bad about one thing. I mean, there is one advantage of being Corey Coleman. He could have anal sex 1,422 times with an HIV positive person and never catch it. So, I know. This is what we're gonna get. I'm happy. I'm happy. I want to do a tap dance, but I don't know how. So I will do the best I can to entertain everybody. In this shocking, not so shocking loss. It's just remarkable. Let's see what some of the comments are in the chat room. All right. My God. Let's see. Kaiser and Coleman were talking to each other after the last play like a scene from Love Story. Dilly dilly. Where do I begin? Yeah, I have no idea. And I know which one was Allie McGraw in that scenario because Corey was taking it up the butt. So there you have that. And remember, love is never having to say you're sorry. Kaiser Cole, not even that's not Joe Fox. You have to type legible English. Not that was pretty much a preseason game is what he's saying. Michael F. I finally hit rock bottom, so you can't get any worse. It's like, boy, you're kind of right there with Sid. I think there comes a point where people I have this incredible tolerance. You see, that's one thing that I've learned is that when you're following Cleveland sports, you develop this tremendous tolerance to disappointment, and you actually learn to thrive with it. I mean, and live for it. I mean, I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, ever since the Cavaliers won the championship, I've let it all go. I said, all right, I know what that feels like. Let's bring on more of the disappointment. I'm ready. Bring it on for the last 20 years of my life. Bring it on. Because that's really what awaits all of us. And the kid says, I will not go to the parade. However, volunteer to decorate the floats. Why? It's mighty whitey there, kid. I hope they don't look at Higgins' stats and keep him around. This was just a preseason game. Steelers played nobody and didn't give a shit. So what did you think, you guys, of Sam Darnold?
Yeah, they got the number 1 and 4 overall picks. Too bad they're going to suck, too.
I mean, that guy, it's like, and do you see his face? He looks like a genetic mutation. So help me God. The guy looks like a genetic mutation. I mean, he has no forehead. This is, I'll do Sam Darnold. Wait a minute. Sam Darnold. This takes a little bit. It's like, dude, what happened to your forehead? I might be going to Cleveland. My head shrinking.
Right, from what I can see right now, there's not a quarterback in the 2018 class that's going to help us at all. I don't think there is.
No, not really. I was thinking I've been saying veteran quarterback because the veteran quarterback can withstand the disappointment, because anyone who would be open for the job is at the end of their career anyway, and one more year or two payday it keeps their family happy and keeps food on the table. So I'm all good with that, because anybody who has any real promise for the future wouldn't want to come to this. You just don't want that. And, and I know I can hear it at the draft. They're going to draft a quarterback, and Hughes going to go, "That's my guy." And the quarterback's going to go, "No, I'm not your guy. No."
You gotta laugh or you cry.
Well, even yesterday, even after the game last night, Darnold, or was it last night or Friday night, one of the two, Darnold was saying, "Yeah, I'm rethinking that going pro decision." He knows the Browns are likely to pick him.
I mean, suddenly it's like, my education became much more important to me. These guys, well, they're not in college. That guy's a Cro-Magnon. Fucking Darnold is like, "I can't see anybody down the field. I don't know what the problem is." You have no fucking forehead. It's like, my God, the guy has dwelled in a cave his entire life. Look at him. God damn. But it's like now his education is of utmost importance. It's like, I've got to attend that PE class. Gotta go my basket weaving course.
Remember last year the visual shots of D. Haslam in the booth going nuts after they won that game? Can we get a visual shot of D. Haslam as 0-16 was locked up?
D. Haslam has not had a legitimate orgasm in so long. I mean, although she does have a guaranteed rebate from her husband that she's going to have one sometime in the future. So she should not really have to worry about that, because we all know Jimmy promises it, boy, that's really going to happen.
And it'll be a discounted one, too. It won't be as good as the one that's possible.
Yeah, I remember it was a positive fuckfest after they won one game. It was unbelievable. It was like, they're not supposed to be this happy after winning one game. That's not supposed to be what happens. But there it was. There it was. I mean, it's like, I don't and what I hope is the first game of next season, the Browns are winning the whole game, and on the last play, a guy kicks a 68-yard field goal, and they lose, just so the camera can zoom in on Hugh, just so that it's like, you're never going to win here. You're never going to win. God and every power on earth will not allow you, Hugh, to win. And we've got another year of this ass flicker. I mean, it is unbelievable. Nothing to look forward to whatsoever. I mean, can you imagine if poor Sid in Buffalo feels this way? There are people in Northeast Ohio who, if they see Hugh Jackson next year, where they turn on their television, they're not going to be at the stadium, but if they turn on their television,
how can they sell him?
Just
how can they sell him?
I don't know. I mean,
According to reports, Hugh Jackson is crying at the podium over going, "Oh, it's
no, he's not."
Somebody on Twitter said that he's currently emotional right now at the podium.
What's he gonna say?
"Oh, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore." Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, he's looking like he's spouting the same bullshit he does after every game.
Yeah,
I can tell by his facial expression. He's shouting the same bullshit he spouts after every game. It's just like, "Oh yeah, we played hard. We just didn't get it done," and same blah blah blah.
Yeah. Scott Petrak just said that he was emotional after going 0-6. Imagine him crying at the podium.
You know something, but there is a good precedent for this, because Whitney Houston was so emotional, baby, and she died. So maybe, just maybe,
get in that bathtub, Hugh.
Maybe there's a Whitney Houston, Hugh Jackson correlation in effect. God Almighty,
Lordy.
I got to start reading some of these comments, or else the people in the chat room are going to ignore me forever. Coleman's a bust, you think? Here's Danny Tanner. Hugh Jackson on Sam Darnold. He's our guy. Yeah, exactly. You can fill in the blank. He's our guy. Juggalo 1, hire Marvin Lewis. No. He would be the second African-American man to swim in the lake. Joshua Perez, 0-16. He's happy. Parade, here we come. Joshua's actually going to go to the parade. I don't know. May I have 1,000 marbles, please? Okay. The late Stephen First from Animal House, the reference. DC Gaming, I'm thinking that our receivers are better than they seem because of the horrible quarterback play. You know, this is going to be an argument that people are going to come up with. You know, this is the argument that you're in a dark disco or nightclub and you go up to two women. One is the ugliest moose of a woman you've ever seen in your life. And the other one is nearly as ugly a moose of a woman. And you say, you know, the second one really isn't that bad. But you see, if you showed it to anyone out of Cleveland, our receivers are terrible. But because we're staring at the two ugly moose, yes, people are going to make the argument that maybe the receivers aren't that bad after all. But you know something? I didn't see a lot of guys breaking wide open during the course of the season down the field. Neither did Kaiser because he wasn't looking their way if they were. Take the seats out of our stadium and replace them with bleachers. Go back to the old uniforms and sell $2 beer. That would solve all of our problems.
No.
What now?
I got a quote from Hugh Jackson.
Okay, here we go.
For Zach Jackson. I don't think anyone else could have stayed in this job for 2 years. A lot of coaches would have said, forget it.
Oh, please, don't. Do you know what Ricardo Montalban would say on Fantasy Island? Allow me my one fantasy tattoo. Allow me that one. You know, one fantasy is all I ask for. Leave. Go.
Even in
Get the
he's
fuck
calling
out.
himself a content.
I don't know. Sid, I mean, he's actually aggrandizing himself.
He's complimenting himself.
I mean, he's aggrandizing himself for managing to sit through the misery he's caused. It's like, I want to quit. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it.
In the same, no, he gets it. That's the sad part. He knows exactly what he's doing.
I guess he's still got a job. The thing that's amazing.
He's a carny barker. This is where he excels.
Yeah, he's always seemingly, you know, he's got the answer for in a most ridiculous way, and he's dealing with an idiot owner, and it seems to pass muster somehow. I don't get it. It's but yeah, you know, most people would have quit a long time ago. You know, I mean, based upon that assessment, can we imagine all the other great figures of American history? That would be like Hillary Rodham Clinton saying, hey, you know something? If anywhere else were me and had as many scandals as I, you know, they would never have survived. Yet here I am. My head hurts. You know, it's like a brain tumor. Wait, I'll do an impression of John McCain. Okay, enough. No more of that. I was giving equal time to the Republicans. So leave me alone.
You know, maybe I should have campaigned in Wisconsin instead of just blowing it off.
Yeah. Hey, if anybody else would have had the opportunity to go to Wisconsin and blow it off completely and fuck up the state of Pennsylvania, they probably would have hung themselves, but not me. And the party's going, here's the rope. Hillary, here's the rope. Yeah.
But
God, Sauce Montana. Bye, Corey. You'll make a mark on the Patriots. That, you know, that's it. I mean, Corey Coleman he's too young. He'll be on the roster next year, but he'll be cut during the preseason. Now, DC Gaming said Pitt played their starting defense except for one guy, so it wasn't really a preseason game, at least for our offense. They were playing starters on the defensive side of the ball, but the intensity clearly wasn't there. And you want to know how bad it is? The Steeler fans didn't even show up.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, if Pittsburgh was playing their offense, the final score would have been 54 to fucking 24 instead of 48 or 28.
Well, they wouldn't have gotten 24. Gemini says, I would rather eat earwax and beat sandwiches rather than having Jackson coach us next year. Now, the earwax thing, that is interesting. And that's a graphic visual that I don't want to have to go
Jimmy Haslam just confirmed to Tom Reed, Hugh Jackson will return next year. Yeah.
Oh my God.
0-16 again.
At what point does the NFL step in and just get this guy gone?
Well, I mean,
like force him to sell the team.
He learned it all in Tennessee. The fact of the matter is that's a real bold mark against people to begin with. If your essence is, Saturdays and the Tennessee Volunteers, it's been a long time. Jimmy Haslam being a winner, it's been longer than D having an orgasm. So, I mean, this is a guy who wouldn't know winning if it bit him in the ass. So that's beautiful. Yep, I'm confirming he's coming back. And here's my impression of Hugh Jackson after hearing the words uttered by Jimmy Haslam. I wrote that white motherfucker a rebate check and he ate it up. There's something really, really fair about all of it, really. There is something in a very circular sense that is totally fair about Jimmy Haslam.
Haslam on Hugh, he has been the ideal leader that I could hope for during these tough times.
No, you're making this up now. Don't go there, Tony. I mean, don't go there. I mean,
they deserve each other. They deserve each other.
No, he will. I will say this one is true. Haslam said going back 2 years, he was still one of the hottest offensive coaches ever.
He was.
I don't think he's lost his magic on how to call plays.
Wow, magic.
So they're not even going to get the offensive coordinator. They're going to get him is going to be a figurehead, nothing more. It's just going to be like John Dorsey.
Which doesn't make any sense, really.
You really think Dorsey's going to have any say in player fucking personnel decisions?
No.
Fuck
No.
Brown's Dog Pound, nice to see you. New subscriber to the show. Hey, better late than never. Hugh Jackson should do jail time for this 2-year record. The only record more prolific than this is Josh Gordon's. Thank you. Whammo Justice says Hugh Jackson, football guy, offensive mastermind, quarterback guru, and never, ever draft any player with the last name Coleman. Sean Coleman's mother says never give birth to anyone named Coleman. Ihsan Hussein, Jackson needs to go. My God, even a Muslim guy in the chat room knows that. Why doesn't our owner? Sauce Montana, change everything. I mean, location, name, colors, players, coaches, lunch lady, parking attendant, water boy, towel boy. Don't forget the sewing lady and marketing. Everybody, please out the door. I agree. I mean,
did you hear Joe Thomas's comment on Hugh Jackson earlier this morning?
Well, I read that he was supportive of him.
When you fall in love with a girl and you go through a rough patch, you have to remember why you fell in love. That means that's why I think you should stay. Well, what good is a relationship if it was rough from the get-go?
No, wait a minute. Did Joe Thomas ever watch the movie Fatal Attraction? Did he ever? I mean, it's like, well, there was a reason why you wanted to dick Glenn Close. There was a reason. So go back and stay with it. It's like,
oh, man.
My head hurts. Just thinking about all of this stuff, my head hurts. It's like,
before the end here, I do want to bring up a point about Deshaun Kaiser versus the quarterback class that we got coming out.
Yes.
So earlier in the year, you alluded to the fact that Deshaun Kaiser had only played 17 college games, which is roughly, and that's roughly over 2 years. Okay, and then you go back to, and I was going back and I was looking at how many games did Peyton Manning start in college?
Did he go to
All of them, he was
college?
a senior.
45
Yeah, did he play
games.
at Tennessee?
Oh.
45
Well, now,
games.
I'm asking. I mean, is that considered a college?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah,
Yes,
45 games for Peyton Manning, and Carson Wentz went to an FCS school, okay, but at least he did start in 42 games.
But that's 42 games in North Dakota.
True, and then
I mean-
Deshaun Watson had 38 games started in college.
And believe me, if you were a quarterback who played for North Dakota and North Dakota State, and if you were Carson Wentz, 42 games would seem like 147. So he had a lot of experience.
So, and then you got Josh Rosen at
Wyoming.
30 games. You got
Yep.
Sam Darnold at 26. Josh Allen at 26 games in college. They're not going to help us.
Yeah,
I think
waiting.
it was Hiram or somebody this morning was saying the Browns should draft JT Barrett. Fucking...
And my last,
No, Cardale Jones. That's a veteran quarterback we need. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam says Hugh will be back in 2018. Praises Jackson leadership in tough times. DP Joe 6. Darnold grows eyebrow pubes. Thank you, guest 399. That is appreciated. Selling Browns tickets with Mr. 1 and 31 returning has got to be the toughest job in the world. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm getting the same quotes from DP Joe 6. Hugh was one of the hottest assistant coaches. Now, that sounds like something that somebody in Greenwich Village would say. Oh, my goodness. He was one of the hottest of all the assistant coaches. It's like, I don't care what he looks like.
Haslam, I do see Hugh as the coach who can take this team to the playoffs. Are you kidding me? I just hope we can win a game.
I just want all of this to stop. And what do you have to look forward to next year? I mean, if anything, how is Hugh Jackson going to come back by the time preseason starts and camp starts and all that good stuff with a rah-rah message? How is that? It's going to have to be the most incredible draft in history for anyone in Cleveland to even give a flying fuck about this team. I mean, literally. It's going to have to be like,
the
best draft in history. You're going to have to get every player that Mel Kiper didn't want. I mean, it would have to be like that. Oh, my God.
I didn't get my last point in, too.
Go ahead.
Baker Mayfield has started in more college games than Deshaun Kaiser and Sam Darnold combined.
That's right.
Experience. I think experience at quarterback is everything.
I tend to agree with that. I think the more you play, and I think that the same thing is true of the holding the clipboard theory in the NFL. The more you see and experience the speed of the NFL game, not on the field as a starting quarterback, but in practice running taxi squad and getting a feel for the speed of the game, the easier it is later on when your name is called. And I think putting people into the treacherous speed of the game, especially without players and playmakers around them, is just suicidal. I think that it's just the wrong thing to do. The thing with Baker Mayfield, he is an aggressive guy, but I have seen these people come to Cleveland and get crushed like a bug. I don't, if that's the guy we choose, I want to see a veteran quarterback, and I want to see any young quarterback groomed to play in the NFL when the team has more talent on the field. That's all.
I'm of the mind not to draft any of them.
Well, I think that you could make an argument at this point that getting a bunch of wide receivers that actually know what in the hell they're doing to get defensive backs. You need an entirely new batch. I mean, you can't survive with Jamar Taylor. You can't survive with McCourty. You can't survive with the safeties that we put on the field. Jabril Peppers is flat out slow. I'm sorry. I mean, they say he has blazing speed. You see him returning kicks?
Oh, yeah. I said for a while that we don't have a defensive back in our backfield that's going to start on any other team.
No. I mean, you need – yeah, and if you're going to draft as many as I think you need to, you're going to have young guys, and they're going to get torched next year. But you've got to teach these guys to play press defense because they have the athletic skills to do it. But I just – no, you can't put these players back out on the field. There isn't a one of them that is even the coaching staff's even, stated that they have to play 8-9 yards off the line of scrimmage because they're afraid they're going to get blown by.
I do want to quote the great Nick Nolte. There's not one of you that's learned how to win.
Yeah.
By the way, NFL Network reporting that Jimmy Haslam told John Dorsey that he would come back. So Dorsey has no say in anything. There's your confirmation.
Yeah.
Just stump.
Well, and this is the lack of health in the organization, and it's the reason why we're at where we're at. You don't think that this incompetence doesn't start at the top. You're crazy. I mean, it's obviously, and it is the most powerless of all feelings. The only time I've ever seen in my life as stupid an owner, and that was Ted Stepien of the Cavaliers. And when the league basically hired, Lee Harvey Oswald to assassinate Ted Stepien and get him out of basketball and get him out of Cleveland, that's when the fortunes of the Cavaliers turned around to the Mark Price and, Brad Doherty era. That was the only time I saw victory out of a situation of a bad owner. Every other time, you're stuck with it. And don't believe me, ask Detroit Lion fans. Ask Detroit Lion fans what it was like having, William Clay Ford as the owner of their team. I mean, ask them what it was like not having a quarterback for 3 decades. Bad owners are, bad owners. I mean, I remember when the Lions couldn't get rid of Matt Millen as their general manager, and he just kept fucking up year after year after year after year. I mean, it is a hopeless thing when you have an inept owner who just keeps his buddies close to him, and there's no attempt at winning. I mean, there is no happy ending for Cleveland fans in this because we have no control. The only thing we can do is just continue to stop watching, just continue not showing up. And I don't know how long the league will tolerate that and how long the league will tolerate the demise of the franchise. But whatever it is very, very strange. Very strange. But
I'm within a hair, within a hair's breadth. I'm starting to think that maybe fair weather fans don't have the right idea. The emotional drain on me every Sunday is something that the wife has in recent years been repeatedly stating that why is this worth it every Sunday like this? Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that.
No, I don't think anybody, the NFL is a business, but the bottom line is you could bet that if it was New York that they would probably have done something by now. But Cleveland, you shrug your shoulders. A mid-sized market, it's not the end of the world to the NFL. I mean, Cleveland hasn't been a factor in NFL football for well over 2.5 decades. So
what could the league actually do? I mean, that would help the situation. You think, well, the league should step. I mean, I keep hearing, well, the league should step in, but what could they do to help the situation?
I can tell you.
Well, they could force Haslam to sell the team. They could relocate the franchise. I mean,
yes. They could basically what the NFL would do in a situation like that is what the NBA did. They would simply find an owner. There's probably somewhere an ownership group that the NFL has decided will own the next NFL franchise. And if the next NFL franchise just happens not to be European in nature, but is the Cleveland Browns because they want to force Haslam out, believe me, Haslam could only do what the league allows him to do.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the only hope for the league taking action. And I think it would take another year like we just saw for them to get off their high horse and do something. Unfortunately, that leaves us with another 16 games of mayhem. But, so be it. That's what I see. So I don't know. I mean, to me, it's a celebration of ineptitude, but it is earned. It is earned across the board. Everybody, wears it. From the idiot Joe Thomas who keeps supporting losing people to Corey Coleman who drops a surefire pass that wins the football game to Kaiser, the 21-year-old kid who shouldn't even be playing in the NFL, all the way to Hugh Jackson, all the way to Sashi Brown, all the way to Deep Podesta, all the way to Jimmy Haslam. It's worn by everybody on every layer of this. And that's it. They've earned everything that they have. And that is the most amazing thing. Yeah, what's up, Sid?
And his stepson, son-in-law, I'm sorry, is gonna J-Dub is gonna get involved in the organization too. So there's gonna be another hand in the pot there, unfortunately for Cleveland Browns fans.
Well, that's just it. I mean, when you refuse to go into seasoned, experienced people and you bring on more neophytes, that is what happens to an organization. Eventually, a bad end will come of it as far as Haslam's ownership, but not until chances are the entire organization will be lifted from Cleveland. I see that there will be no fight this time on the part of fans to keep a football team that's owned by this ass clown. That is, and that is the pattern when somebody's this much of a bozo. That they will wind up finding somebody else who will welcome them with open arms, will move the team. And, we've seen it before. Bad, Bill Bidwell. We've seen it before. This is, the way it works. And, it was the way it was with Sterling in the NBA. This is how it worked. I mean, you move a team from San Diego, then you move them to Los Angeles, and then, finally the league had to step in, found an owner. They found Steve Ballmer, the most wealthy motherfucker they could find, to unload the Clippers off on just to get rid of Sterling. So, but by the time they get rid of Haslam, I don't think the team will be in Cleveland anymore. I think it'll probably be somewhere else. But what are you going to do about it, folks? We're just the spectators, and we just look at this and go, wow. I can't believe we witnessed an 0-16 clean slate season. Unbelievable.
And this team was worse than the 2008 Lions. Absolutely worse.
I know what you look like, Tony.
What?
You look like the one guy in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. One of the patients. What was his name? Cheswick. That was his name, the guy who wanted the cigarette in group therapy. Moo.
Oh. Yeah.
All right, I got to get out of here because I want to ride my bike around the block so I can get a little exercise in the sunshine because it's going to rain here tomorrow. Sid, I kept my word to you, and I'm glad you kept your word and showed up for the post-game show because and these are all going to start up again next year. So you going to join us next year?
Oh, boy.
Oh, definitely. You going to do any off-season stuff?
Oh, I do a weekly show. On Mondays and Fridays, I do a weekly podcast of Northeast Ohio sports. Where it'll be Cavs, Indians, and Browns. Be covering the draft, all that good stuff. And the halftime and post-game shows resume first week of the season. We usually do a dress rehearsal in week 3 of the preseason, too. Year 14.
As a lame duck. Unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, guys. General Dog, as always, thank you for tolerating me.
Yeah, no problem, Moo. Always.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. And Tony,
see you
take
later.
care. Wash yourself. All right.
Fuck you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to an entire 0-16 season. Woohoo! Give it up. Wait. It's Mr. Celery. We're doing the cast call. We're doing the cast call right now.
I still say that looks like Hugh Jackson.
Da, 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 da. And your favorite, the architect of the season, the Black Cow of Death. Da, 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 da. He's peering into your soul. Da, 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 da. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back again. If you're, watch Moohead Radio every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if it doesn't start exactly then, keep checking the site, mooheadradio.com or YouTube. You're subscribing. There's about 177 subscribers. Keep subscribing. Watch the weekly program, and these halftime and postgame shows will even make less sense. For those people who are done and just want to watch the halftime and postgame shows, I'll see you next season. And for the rest of you, I'll see you. Tomorrow's not so good a day, but I'll try to do a show on New Year's Day. I'll try to do that. It's only going to rain here, so yeah, I'll be around tomorrow on the air. And check your YouTube channel, Moohead Radio, and you'll get the most recent Moohead Radio podcast. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye. 0-16. Bye.